Loving too much usually isn't about love. It's about a quiet fear that if you give less, you won't be kept. You've been called too intense, too giving, too available your whole life. But nobody asked the real question. What are you so afraid would happen if you stopped? In the next few minutes, you'll see what's really underneath all that giving and how to love from fullness instead of fear. First, let's see if this is you. In every relationship, you're the one who gives more. You noticed it early. You never said it out loud because saying it felt like asking for trouble. You remember their coffee order, their deadlines, their mother's birthday. They forget yours. You tell yourself it's fine. You text first. You apologize first, even when it wasn't your fault. Peace matters more than fairness, so you pay for the quiet again and again. When they pull away, you don't get angry. You get better, more helpful, more patient, more perfect, as if their distance were a review of your performance. Your needs feel like a burden you shouldn't hand to anyone, so you carry them alone and call it strength. But strength that can't rest isn't strength. It's fear with good posture. You can sense their mood change from across the room. One sigh, and your whole evening reorganizes itself around fixing it. Saying no feels physically dangerous, like the relationship is a glass you might drop, so the no stays swallowed year after year. And when someone finally treats you well, you don't relax. You get suspicious or bored. Quiet love feels like something must be wrong. Earned love feels like home, and we always walk toward what feels like home, even when it hurts. If any of this feels familiar, you're not weak, and you're not too much. You're running a strategy you learned long before you could question it. Let's open it up. 5 layers. Each one explains a piece of you. Layer 1, what you call love. Your nervous system calls insurance, a policy you've been paying into since before you can remember. Every gift, every favor, every rescued evening, a small premium paid against one disaster being left. Somewhere along the way, your brain wrote a simple equation. My value equals my usefulness. Not loved for being, loved for doing. So you became indispensable, the helper, the fixer, the one who never asks for anything. Whatever the room needs, you become it. Because a person who is needed can't be abandoned. That's the logic. It's airtight, and it's wrong. Psychologists call this anxious attachment, a radar in your chest that scans for one signal: distance. When the radar pings, you don't ask what's wrong with them. You ask, what did I do? And you give more. More attention, more effort, more of you. Giving calms the alarm for an hour, a day. Then the radar sweeps again, and the price of peace goes up. The peace that cost a favor last year now costs your whole weekend. That's not love growing. That's a tolerance building. Like anything that soothes an alarm, you need more each time. Here's the part nobody tells you. The giving isn't really for them. It's for the alarm, a payment to the panic. Dressed up as a present, they receive your 10th favor of the week and feel vaguely smothered. You watch their face and feel vaguely unthanked. Both of you are reacting to something invisible, a fear neither of you named. It sits at every dinner. It joins every conversation. And fear is a terrible translator. It turns "I miss you" into a casserole. "Please stay" into a rescue. "Do you love me?" into yet another favor. So the people you love most never actually hear the sentence underneath. And loneliness grows in that gap. On both sides. They got the gifts, they missed the message, and you kept score without meaning to. That scoreboard matters. Hold that thought. We'll come back to it at layer 3, because it's hiding something you won't see coming. Layer 2. Where did the equation come from? Almost always from a childhood where love had conditions. Maybe love arrived when you were good, quiet, helpful, invisible when needed, and useful when called. Maybe a parent was overwhelmed or sick or sad, and somewhere along the way, the child became the caretaker. Psychologists call that parentification, a child doing a job no one hired them for, with their childhood as the salary. A child can't think my parent has limits. A child thinks I must try harder. Self-blame is safer than seeing the truth, because the truth, that love might not come no matter what you do, is unsurvivable at 7. So the child builds a beautiful, tragic skill, reading rooms, predicting moods, earning warmth, and that skill works. It gets crumbs of love, and crumbs to a starving heart feel like proof the system works. Fast forward 20 years, the child is gone. The strategy never left. It just changed costumes and started dating. You don't choose partners. The strategy chooses them. And it has a type. It's been casting the same role for years. It scans the room and lights up for the distant one, the wounded one, the almost available one. Not because you're broken, because they feel like home. Same locked door, same chance to finally earn the key. Therapists call it repetition compulsion. The heart returns to the old exam room, hoping to finally pass the test. That's why just love yourself never worked for you. Your worth doesn't live in your own hands. You handed it away a long time ago. Other people became the bank where your value is stored. Every relationship, a withdrawal attempt. And banks like that have terrible customer service. Some days the machine says yes. Some days, insufficient funds. Same you. Different mood on the other side of the counter. You learn to read the teller's face instead of your own worth. As long as your worth lives in someone else's vault, you will overpay to keep the bank open. Any bank, even a failing one. Layer 3. This is the part that might sting. Remember the scoreboard. We need to talk about what it was really counting. All that giving felt selfless, but underneath, there was a contract, one the other person never signed. I give everything, so you can never have a reason to go. That's not just generosity. That's also control. Soft control, sweet control. Control wearing an apron and asking if you've eaten. But control. And listen, this isn't an accusation. It's the most human move in the world. If abandonment is the disaster, influence feels like safety. But here's what it costs. A love you have to manage every hour is a love you can never trust. You become the full-time manager of someone else's staying. You never get to find out the one thing you actually need to know. Would they stay if I stopped performing? And there's a second sting. Be honest about who you keep choosing. People who love too much rarely fall for people who love easily. Open arms feel boring, unearned, almost suspicious. Because if love is just given, your hard-earned skill becomes useless. And your skill is who you think you are. So the chaser needs a runner. The earner needs a withholder. You're too much needs someone's not enough. That's the hidden partnership. 2 strategies. Dancing. Neither person actually met. And the cruelest twist of all, your overgiving makes it easier for them to undergive. Why would anyone learn to pour when their cup is always magically full? You're not just tolerating the imbalance, you're funding it. Every time you overfunction, you teach them they can underfunction. Every rescue cancels a lesson life was trying to teach them. So the relationship freezes. You exhausted and resentful. Them comfortable and clueless, both calling it love. The scoreboard was never about them owing you. It was your alarm, counting proof that you're allowed to stay. Layer 4, the bill. Because this strategy doesn't send invoices monthly. It sends one big one, late, and it always arrives at the worst possible time. It starts in the body, the tiredness that sleep doesn't fix. 8 hours down, and you wake up already drained. Caregiver burnout isn't dramatic. It's quiet. You just notice. The things you gave with joy, you now give with gritted teeth. Resentment is the interest rate on every unsaid need. And you have decades of unsaid needs. Then comes the strangest loss. You start to disappear, not all at once, roll by roll, favor by favor. Ask yourself, what do you like? Not them, you. What music? What food? What Sunday looks perfect to you alone? If you have to think hard about that, that's not a quirk. That's the cost. Years of scanning other people's weather, and you never learned your own climate. There's a name for the final stage, self-abandonment. The thing you feared most from others. you've been doing to yourself daily. You never let anyone leave you by leaving yourself first. Every single time. It's the perfect defense and the perfect trap. And the people who love you really love you. They feel it. Loving a person who isn't home is lonely. Your love was real, always was, but it was arriving from an empty tank. And love from an empty tank doesn't feel like love to the receiver. It feels like debt. That's the cost. Not just your exhaustion, but the slow conversion of love into obligation for everyone. Now, the turn. Because none of this means love less. It means love from a different place. And that place can be rebuilt slowly, deliberately. Picture two wells. One is rain-fed, full on its own. One depends on others to come pour water in. Loving from fear is the second well. Every gift secretly asks for water back, even when you swear it doesn't. Loving from fullness is the first. It gives because it's full. No invoice, no scoreboard, no alarm, just overflow, going where it's needed. How do you refill your own well? Small, boring, daily. Not a spa day. A system. 4 steps. Each one smaller than it sounds. Step 1, catch the urge. Next time you leap to give, fix, rescue, pause 3 seconds. Ask one question. Am I giving this or am I paying this? A gift feels light. A payment feels urgent. If it's a payment, the alarm is talking. You don't have to obey an alarm. You can just hear it. Step 2, practice the smallest no, not a dramatic boundary, a tiny one. I can't tonight. Full stop, no essay. Then, survive the silence after. That silence is where the old fear lives. Stand in it. Let it pass through. It will. Each survived no teaches your nervous system the impossible. You said no, and you're still loved, still here, still safe. Step 3, ask for one small thing. This will feel harder than giving 100 things. Do it anyway. Receiving without instantly repaying is the deepest exercise. Let a favor sit. Don't even the score. Feel how strange it feels, and let it be strange. Step 4, spend 10 minutes a day on something that's only yours. Not useful, not for anyone. Yours. That's not selfish. That's how you move your worth out of their vault, back into your own chest. And watch what happens to your relationships. The right people. Relax. Real love prefers a full partner to a perfect servant. The wrong people will protest. They like the vending machine. That protest is information, maybe the kindest you'll ever get. So, the person who loves too much, not too much love, too much fear, doing love's job, working overtime for decades, unpaid. You were never too much. You were a child who learned that love must be earned and then earned it for decades. The work isn't to shrink your heart. It's to stop paying for what should be free. Your heart was never the problem. Love that needs your exhaustion as proof was never measuring love, only fear. And fear makes a terrible accountant. So, here's the question to sit with tonight. Are you loving from fullness or paying from fear? Be honest, not for me, for the 7-year-old who's still trying to earn the unconditional. If this video named something you've carried alone, leave one word in the comments. Just one. Someone else needs to read it. And if you want to understand the hidden machinery of your own mind, subscribe. We open one drawer at a time. See you in the next one.